To launch a new segment today called Chicago's Untold Stories. And what we're doing, we've got some help now from reporters from DNAinfo.com, one of the hottest new websites in Chicago. No, hottest new website ever out there, okay? DNA reporters Heather Sharon and Serena Dye are with us to talk about two stories that you may not have heard about this week. And their boss, the big man, Seamus Toomey, is tagging along as well. So let's start off with you, Seamus. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate it. Don't you feel like you're on a dating game looking for love?
That's right, yeah.
Look at it. We've got the stools here. Anybody looking for love? Okay.
DNA is the hottest website as well.
It is really. I was just going to say, what is it about DNA Info that makes you so hot? I mean, everybody is talking about it, and a lot of people are getting their news from DNA.
Well, thanks for having us. I appreciate it. We're a neighborhood news site. We have got reporters in neighborhoods all over the city. A lot of them live in those neighborhoods. They're around there all day. They're just scouting out stories, big stories, small stories, and some weird stories.
I was going to say, where do the weird stories come from? Do you have a lot of people out there that give you guys tips? Serena,
Absolutely.
Heather, what about, because you're the reporters on this stuff?
Yeah. Well, I know for a story that I did this week that's super weird.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Stuff happens, huh?
Yeah, it's weird. And, you know, as neighborhood reporters at DNA Info Chicago, we're just trying to track what people are talking about. Because weird stories, neighbors are going to talk to each other about, including on social media. So, one particular story this week we found from looking on social media about the worst parking spot in Lakeview, which is the neighborhood I cover.
And what makes this a weird story or a just downright nasty story? Let's just call it, okay?
Yeah.
Tell us about the story.
Extremely nasty, which I can say from experience, because I hung out by the worst parking spot in Lakeview, where there's this one tree on Stratford Place in East Lakeview. When you wake up in the morning, go to your car, caked in bird poop. Ooh. I'm not talking just one splatter, it's completely covered with bird
So
poop.
wait a minute, to find a parking spot in Lakeview, you're doing something, but some people, I'm told, will not even park on the street because of the bird poop.
No. It's only this one spot. There are tons and tons of trees on this street, and there's even another maple tree right next to it, exactly like it, and yet this one spot is where this one flock of birds go to roost.
Any car, every car.
Every car. Completely, and I talked to some experts, and they said that they were confused.
There's an expert out there on bird poop? I know, I'm just joking.
We'll find them. We'll find them.
I was going to say, if anybody's going to find it, DNA Info would.
Okay. Yeah, but several birds, they were completely perplexed. They said if there's plenty of options for birds to roost in different trees, why would they choose that one? They had no idea, but year after year, one neighbor I talked to had been there for 11 years. Ever
so now when she comes to you, Seamus, with a story like this, what do? You run with it, huh?
I say I want it now. When can you file it?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is going to be great.
And let's talk about, and Heather's got a story that is kind of wild, kind of big too.
Yeah, so there's this theater in the heart of Portage Park, the Portage Theater. It's in the heart of the Six Corners shopping district. And, you know, when my parents were young, that was the best place to go for, to go shopping, for a new dress, for new shoes. Now, it's a little bit run down in that neighborhood now. And I got a tip from a friend in the neighborhood that the gas had been shut off to about 28 apartments in that building. So it left some people not without any hot water, without any heat. So I called up the owner and I asked him, what's going on? He said, well, I can't pay the bill because there are no shows there because he hasn't had, so no cash means no shows, means no gas. And he told me it wasn't a big deal. And he actually called the neighborhood not so great, but he used a word that started with an S and ended with a Y.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
And then so my Facebook page blew up and my Twitter blew up with people blaming the landlord, Eddie Franza, for making the neighborhood run down. Because, why would you want to live in a neighborhood with an apartment building without any gas in such a prominent location?
Exactly. Now, is this part of the reason why your success, DNA Info is a success, Seamus, because you focus in on the stories here in Chicago? Because there are a lot of websites out there where you can get your news, a lot of them right here in Chicago. But is it that you're telling different stories?
Well, a lot of it is that we're telling the stories that aren't being told. But we're also, we're covering the local stuff. I mean, that's the stuff that is important to me, the stuff that's important to people of Chicago. That's not getting told. So if we're the only ones telling it, it's going to get some eyeballs. And it's interesting. I'm interested in the stuff that happens down the block for me, of course.
You guys are obviously interested in twerking. Everybody's talking about that, and that's something you've got on your website today, huh?
Yep.
Who can do it? Who wrote this? Who did that story?
Oh, our Rogers Park reporter. Right?
And what is the story? Tell everybody at home.
Yeah.
Since that
I'm not going to twerk for you guys.
I was just going to say, we've got the dating game scene going here, so tell everybody at home, though, since the reporter is not here, can you tell us about the story?
Yeah, it's this new dance studio in Rogers Park, and I guess it says studio that used to have different women. This new one's coming in, and they're saying no twerking allowed. So if you're going to come and take a class there, just remember, they're not going to tell you how to dance like Miley.
I don't think I'd want to see that anyway. It's gross.
Amen, right?
You guys, thank you so much for joining us. DNA Info, the reporter, Seamus, thank you. Have a good weekend, everybody. Everybody at home.